Hello, welcome to HODL Daily. I'm your host, JC Hyatt, and you may have noticed a drop in the Bitcoin price last week and over the weekend, as well as a sharp increase in the Bitcoin Cash price. Specifically, Bitcoin fell from about $7,500 to about $5,500, and Bitcoin Cash rose from about $650 to about $2,300. Those prices have since changed. Bitcoin has basically back up to where it was. It's at about 7,200 now, and Bitcoin Cash, I'm not sure where it is, but it definitely crashed. And I'm going to go into more detail about the reason for these price fluctuations later, as well as the why they went down or why one went down, one went up, and then why they reversed again. But I thought today, first off, you may have no idea what I'm talking about, and if you don't worry. But if you do, if you've been seeing maybe some news or hearing other places about Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash and all this stuff, you may be feeling a little confused. You may be saying, wait, there's two different Bitcoins? Actually, there's more versions of Bitcoin than that. There's, or in a manner of speaking, there's Bitcoin, which is the only actual Bitcoin. And then there are other currencies which were created from what are called forks, which is something else we will get into later. But essentially, when a fork happens on a cryptocurrency, we end up with a new coin, or commonly referred to as an asset that gets generated, a new asset. And so there was Bitcoin, and then there was a fork or multiple forks, which has resulted in other currencies like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, and Bitcoin Dark. These are not Bitcoin themselves. They're actually entirely separate cryptocurrencies. You'll notice that you can kind of see this in action by actually looking at the prices of each of these different currencies. So you'll notice that Bitcoin has its own price, and then Bitcoin Gold or Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Dark or whatever, even though they have Bitcoin in the name, they're not Bitcoin, because if you look at their prices, each of them has their own respective price. So this is this concept may be kind of new, but don't let it freak you out or anything. All you need to know is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash is not Bitcoin. It is Bitcoin Cash, two totally different currencies. One came from the other through what's called a fork, which we will get into later. This is also not necessarily just tied to Bitcoin. This is true of just cryptocurrencies in general. When a fork happens, a new crypto gets created. This is true of Ethereum. The old version of Ethereum is actually called Ethereum Classic now, because there was a fork with Ethereum, and then the new version actually became Ethereum, and the old version, Ethereum as it was before that fork, became Ethereum Classic. This is not like Bitcoin, where the old version is still Bitcoin, and the new version did not take over. It actually just became Bitcoin Cash. That may be a little confusing. Let me know if you have some questions. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at HODL Daily, or comment on the website on this post. The link is in the show notes. And if you were holding Bitcoin, you saw the price dropping, I really hope you were hodling, because it's already back up. That kind of thing happens frequently. And this whole price drop and Bitcoin Cash going up and everything, it's pretty apparent that it was all just kind of an orchestrated attack on Bitcoin. It was all more of a marketing ploy, and not by Bitcoin, but by people or proponents of Bitcoin Cash. Anyway, there's a lot of politics involved, and it's not important at the moment. What I thought would be more important for you to understand today is that there are multiple spin-offs, in a sense, of Bitcoin that came from Bitcoin, but are actually different currencies. And so anytime you see those things in the news, or you see, you might see something in the future, it's like, oh, Bitcoin, whatever, Bitcoin Rock is or Bitcoin Diamond or whatever it is $50 like for one coin. Like, oh, I'm gonna buy that. Well, you can, but it's not Bitcoin, just so you know. So that will do it for today. Let me know if you have questions, and I will catch you tomorrow.